Time value of money is a foundation concept in investment management. Your ability to make smart investment decisions relies heavily on your understanding of how the value of money changes over a period of time. This introductory course on the time value of money help you absorb the basic understanding of why the value of money changes over some time. You will also acquire essential knowledge on choosing alternative among the cash flow available to you. You will end this course with a practical understanding of the cost and benefits of choosing investment alternatives and cash flow. So, if you are someone who values money and understand the importance of the time, you have landed on the right video. So, without any further delay, let's begin.
If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoy this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you are sharing this video with your friends and colleagues as well. Make sure to comment on the video any queries or suggestions and I will respond to your comments. Hi. The bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. This is one of the most popular proverb you ever heard when we talk about the concept time value of money. Why this concept, why this proverb is so relevant, so prevalent for the discussion of time value of money is the epicenter of this entire series of videos. Welcome to the video on time value of money. My name is Pawan Kumar Chandrappa. In this video, we are going to understand the concept of time value of money. We'll understand the relationship between time and money and how inflation come in between time and money and it will impact the value of your money. And we will understand the compounding principle, conversion of present value of money into future value of money. And we discuss about the discounting principle, that's conversion of future value of money into present value of money. And we will talk about Rule 72. It's how many years your money is going to take to double itself. So we'll talk about that and we'll talk about the perpetuity and growing perpetuity. Let's start our discussion with the fundamental question, what is time value of money? You must have heard this question so often, but understanding this concept requires certain essentials, like we need to understand the basics of money. So let us try to understand this concept with a simple real life example. Think about it. Let's say you are a manager, you are working in an organization, your manager is so impressed about your performance and he wanted to give you a bonus of rupees 10,000. But the manager gives you two options. You either receive 10,000 rupees today or receive 10,000 a year later. So as a reasonable individual, which option would you choose and why? This is a very critical decision to be taken because there are two options given to you and you have an opportunity to choose any one of this. Now, if you are in this position, which option would you choose and why? If you are a reasonable investor, you would definitely go for option 1 rather going to option 2. There are three important reasons why you should be choosing option 1 instead of option 2. Option 1 is more practical compared to option 2. What is option 1? Collect amount of rupees 10,000 today, or option 2, collect the amount of rupees 10,000 a year later. You would choose option 1. The fundamental reason is default risk. Why we talk about default risk in this context? For example, when your manager says that I will give you 10,000 rupees bonus because you have performed extremely well, your manager promised it, and now let's say your manager is happy and after 1 month, let's say you commit a serious mistake in your organization and that is very damaging to your organization. Will your manager be able to give you the bonus of rupees 10,000? The answer is no, because he's disappointed about your performance. So there is a chances of default risk from your manager if you choose option 2, collect the amount of rupees 10,000 a year later. So that is not an attractive option for you. You should be going for option 1 because, as we mentioned earlier, the bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. So that is the reason you would choose option 1. Reason 2, why you should be going for option 1. There is an inflation risk that we are actually facing. We all face this inflation risk. So what is inflation risk? The value of money. When we talk about the appreciating assets and the depreciating assets, you should be putting money into the asset that depreciates over a period of time. So the money is a depreciating asset. So the value of money depreciates over a period of time. And why that happens? Because of inflation effect. Okay, so inflation will take away the value of your money. For example, let's say the Indian inflation rate right now is 5%. It's an average of 5%. Now, when we say 5%, the value of your money depreciates over a period of time by 5%. Let's say 1 year. Let's say you have this 10,000 rupees and you will keep it in the safety locker of your home. What will happen? The value of your money depreciates. Even if you kept it safe in your locker, the value of money depreciates because the inflation will damage the value of your money. So to protect the value of your money, what you need to do, you have to take money right now and you have to invest in the market at least for 5% so that you can save the value of money by 5%. For example, so in this case, so let's say you have chosen option 1 and you have taken 10,000 rupees from your manager right now and you will invest this money in the market for 5%. What will happen? The first thing, you are going to save the value of your money. Let us assume you are not investing this money, you are not choosing this option 1 and you're going for option 2. What will happen? 10,000 rupees that you are expecting to receive by end of this year will lose 5% of its value because 5% is the inflation. So 5% of 10,000 is 500. So the 10,000 rupees minus 500, 9,500. So what money you're going to receive at the end of this year is 9,500. It's not 10,000. Though you feel it is 10,000 rupees right in your pocket, it is not the actual value. It is not the intrinsic value of your asset, intrinsic value of your money. So that is the reason you should be going for option 1. You have to take this 10,000 now and you have to invest in the market at least for 5% so that your money, that is 10,000 rupees, will be 10,000 at least at the end of this year. The third reason why you should be going for option 1, there is a reinvestment opportunity. Okay. So let's say the 10,000 rupees today, you will invest in the market and the percentage of interest you are actually planning is 10%. So 10% is the interest you are actually going to earn. And in the 10%, 5% of the value will be taken by inflation. Remaining 5% will be your return. So here, by investing for 10%, you're not just protecting the value of your money, you are basically earning excess return from your money. Okay, so that is the whole idea why you should be choosing option 1 and not the option 2. Now, what we need to understand from this, the rupee earned today will have more value than the rupee that would be earned tomorrow. The rupee saved today will have more value than the rupee that would be saved tomorrow. The rupee invested today is more valuable than the rupee that would be invested tomorrow. Now, the concept of time value of money can be discussed under 2 broad categories: discounting and compounding. We generally talk about time value of money under these 2 broad categories. So, what is discounting? Basically, discounting is also called as a future value of money. Let's say your father has promised you to give 10 lakhs after 10 years. Now, you want to understand what is the worth of this 10 lakhs right now. My father promised 10 lakhs. Absolutely fine. I know that 10 lakhs I'm going to receive. But what is the worth of the 10 lakhs right now? So, discounting principle will help you calculate that and understand the intrinsic current worth of your money, the current worth of the 10 lakhs you're going to receive after 10 years. For example, let's say you want to invest 1000 rupees every year, and for 10 years you're going to invest 1000 into 10 years, it is 10,000. So after 10 years, the total value of your money is 10,000 is what you're thinking. But what is the actual value of your 10,000 after 10 years? So to find out answer for that question, you need to use the compounding principle. The compounding principle will help you understand your value of your money after 10 years. So what we will do, we will discount, we'll apply time value of money principle to understand the current worth of your money. So this can be calculated using the equation present value of money is equal to future value of money divided by 1 plus r power n. In this equation, FV is nothing but it is future value, r is discount rate, n is number of years. So you can also call it as period. So let's take an example. We'll apply this formula. We'll understand how discounting it actually works in real time. Let's take an hypothetical example. Let us assume that your reporting manager is impressed with your performance, the performance of the entire team during the last quarter. In order to encourage the team, the management has decided to offer an employment continuance incentive. Let us say the management offers incentive with 3 options the management is giving. Alternative 1, receive 1 lakh at the end of 3 years. So this is the option given to you by your management. Alternative 2, receive 32,000 at the end of each year for the next 3 years. Alternative 3, receive rupees 36,000 at the end of first year, 32,000 at the end of second year, and 28,000 at the end of third year. You carefully observe this. In alternative 1, you are going to receive a lump sum of 1 lakh at the end of 3 years. It's one-time payment, one-time amount is going to give you. But in the alternative 2 is going to give you a uniform cash flows of 32,000 for the next 3 years. But in alternative 3, 36,000 at the end of first year, that is one amount, 32,000 at the end of second year, and 28,000 at the end of third year. So the cash flows are not uniform, right? And consider the management gives the team a daytime to decide the alternative that they want to opt for. So if you are part of this team, then which option would you choose and why? So this is a very practical situation that most of us will encounter. Let's try to understand how we can solve this problem. Let's understand what will happen in case of alternative 1. So receive 1 lakh at the end of 3 years. Now, when we say 1 lakh, remember this is a one-time payment and you can consider this is a annuity, right? So one-time payment you're going to receive. Now, the present value of single cash flow. This is a present value of one-time cash flow, right? 1 lakh is the one-time cash flow at the end of 3 years. So to do this, we can use present value principle, present value equation. Present value is equal to future value divided by 1 plus r power n. So just apply these values. Future value is 1 lakh. Why it is future value? We don't have this money right now. So we are going to receive this amount. R is discount rate, that is 6.5%. N is 3 years. So 1 lakh divided by 1 plus 0.065 power 3. So 0.065 is nothing but 6.5 divided by 100. Now power 3. So 3 is nothing but it is term at the end of 3 years. So what you're going to get is 82,784.91. That means the value of this 1 lakh is 82,784.91 right now, means today. So if you are promised to give 1 lakh, don't believe that you're going to receive 1 lakh. You are going to receive just 82,784.91 today. That is the actual value of your money. So you should remember when manager said 1 lakh, your manager is going to give you 82,784.91. And according to financial term, he is mentioning 1 lakh. It is not true. He is going to give you this amount. And what you're going to receive is 1 lakh, but the worth of this money is 82,784.91. So now we have understood how to calculate the present value of money using the formula. Now let us understand how to use table values to calculate the present value of money, because most of the time applying formula may be quite challenging. Sometimes it takes time, right? Do calculations. Now you may be thinking how to use this principle with the help of table. So I'll show you how to use table. This is called present value interest factor table. It is showing dollar. We can use it for rupee and the values are the same. So in this case, let's say it is 6.5% and this is for 3 years. So how to see the table value for this particular values? Now, most of the tables come with 1% difference. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like this. So you will mostly get like this. So what you need to do, sometime you'll not be able to use this table. You may have to calculate the numbers, and some tables will give you 1.5%, 2%, 2.5%, 3%, 3.5%, all these values. So we have another table. This table will give you the values for 3 years and 6.5% discount rate. Okay, so 3 years and 6.5%. So we can calculate for this values. So this is the table, and you can find out how you can find out 6.5%, and this is for 3 years. So the value is 0.827849. So this is the value. So what you need to do, you have to use this number and you have to multiply this number with, so 1 lakh. You can use 1 lakh and the table value. So you will get 82,784.91. Now we need to understand another thing in this context. For example, when we say this 0.827849, so how this value is calculated? So you must be wondering how this number is calculated. So to understand this, what you need to do, you need to apply the formula. Very complex. The numbers are calculated with a simple example, simple formula. So present value table will help you to calculate present value in few seconds. So now let's understand alternative 2. So what is the alternative 2 is given to you? Receive 32,000 at the end of each year for the next 3 years. So we understood these are multiple even cash flows. So 32,000, 32,000, 32,000. So 3 years, we're going to receive 32,000. Now, so what we need to do, we need to apply this present value formula, and these are number of years, year 1, 2, 3. And the second column is a future value. What is future value? 32,000 is the future value for first year, right? 32,000 is the second year future value, and 32,000 for the third year. So if you look at the total of this 32,000 for the 3 years, it is 96,000. But can we consider this 96,000 as your value of your money? The question is that, but the answer is no, because 96,000 is the amount you're going to receive at the end of 3 years. Put together all 3 years cash flows, but you have to apply discounting principle. Discounting principle will use inflation. You'll consider inflation, and then you're going to get the result. So what you need to do, 32,000 for 6.5% discount rate. So if you apply this present value formula, you will get this number, 30,046.95, 28,213 for the second year, 26,491.17 for the third year. If you total this, it is going to be 84,751.12. The value of your money, if you receive in alternative 2, is going to be 84,751.12. Remember, the value of your 1 lakh is 84,751.12 today. Okay, so this is a direct method of applying present value formula. We can also do this with the help of present value table. So present value table will help you. Since this is a uniform cash flow, you can take the discount rate and you can calculate the table values. So first year 6.5%, second year 6.5%, third year 6.5%. So 6.5% first year. Okay, so 0.938967, 0.881, 0.827. So you have to plug in these values in this area and then multiply that with column B, that is cash flow. So 32,000 table value, you will get this numbers. Okay, and this is going to be 84,751.12. So this is alternative 2. Now let's understand alternative 3. So what is alternative 3? Receive 36,000 at the end of first year, 32,000 at the end of second year, and 28,000 at the end of third year. Remember, this is not uniform cash flow. So we are not getting us same cash flow for all 3 years. It is different. Now, how to calculate this discounted value? So consider 3 years, year 1, 2, 3, then cash flows 36,000, 32,000, 28,000, and then use the discounted rate 6.5% for all 3 years, and you can multiply 32,000 with discounting rate, 28,000 with the rate. So you will get these values. So first year 32,863.85, second year 28,213.10, and third year you will get 23,179.77. So remember, these are the discounted cash flows. So you have taken inflation into consideration. So what is the worth of these 3 cash flows now? 84,256.72. So now we have all 3 options right in front of you. This is a decision time for you. Which option do you think is attractive? Obviously, the option which gives you the maximum discounted value, right? So that is option 2, 84,751.12 is the maximum out of 3 options. So a reasonable individual would choose alternative 2 against all these 3 options. So that is how discounting principle will help you understand the value of your money right now after applying discounting principle. Now, having understood discounting principle, this is the time to understand what is compounding. So how to do compounding? What is compounding? Basically, compounding is nothing but it is just trying to understand the future value of money. You want to understand the value of your money on a specified future date. You have some amount right now and you don't know what is the value of that money on a specified future date, let's say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years down the line. The compounding principle will help you understand the value of your money on a specified future date. Basically, compounding is conversion of present value of money to future value of money. Compounding refers to an increasing value of an asset due to the interest earned on both principal and accumulated interest. So compounding will help you understand your future value of money. So here is an equation to understand the compounding principle. A future value of money is equal to present value of money into 1 plus r to the power of n. So in this, future value, FV is future value, PV is present value, R is discount rate, and N is number of years. You can also use future value table and you can consume the table values to calculate the compounding values. So here, future value of N is equal to present value into future value interest factor annuity. So R is discount rate, N is number of year. So let's take an example to understand compounding principle better. So what is the future value of 1,000 deposited for 3 years with a financial institution offering 8% return per year? So in this example, the present value is 1,000. The discount rate is 8%. That's 0.08%. 8% divided by 100. And N is equal to 3 years. So number of years, 3. So just plug in the values to the formula. So future value of N is present value is 1,000 into 1 plus 0.08 to the power of 3. So the value will be 1260. There is an alternative method to calculate compounded value. You can use future value interest factor annuity. So you can take table value, so future value interest factor annuity. So in this case, it is 8% discount rate, number of years 3. So you have to see future value table for 3 years for 8%. So you have to take that value and you have to multiply with 1000. So the value of compounded amount is going to be 1260. So that is the value you're going to earn. Now, how to see this value in the table, right? You can refer the same table, the future value interest factor, right? So you have to see 8% and 3 years. So you must be saying 1.2597. So when you round this 9, it will become 1.26. Okay. So 1.26 into 1000. So 1260. So this is how you can calculate the compound value of your money. Let's take another example to understand compounding better. Let us consider that you are a popular financial consultant in Bengaluru. A customer come to you for a financial advice. You are thinking about recommending your client to invest in gold that costs 85,000 rupees. And you are certain that next year the gold value will be worth 91,000 and assures you 6,000 gain. So 85,000 rupees is your investment and you're going to get 91,000 rupees. The difference is 6,000. Let's say there is one bank in the same locality and the bank is giving you a 10% return. Should the client undertake investment in gold or he should go for the bank deposit where he'll get 10% return? So let's calculate that which option is better for your investor. So in this case, the present value of your money is that 85,000 is going to invest. Bank is giving 10% return. Number of years is 1 year. So at the end of 1 year, I want to understand what is the worth of this particular investment. So we'll approach future value formula. Future value is equal to present value into 1 plus r power n. So 85,000, 1 plus r, 0.1. R is discount rate 10% divided by 100. So 0.1. So power 1. So it is going to be 93,500. Okay. So if your investor deposit money in the bank, he is going to earn so 93,500 from the bank. But if he invest in the gold, what is the amount he's going to get? 91,000. So 93,000 is simple mathematics. 93,500 is bigger than 91,000. You should be suggesting your client that go for bank deposit and don't go for investing in gold. Now, let us understand Rule 72. You must have heard Rule 72 everywhere. Like if you keep money in the bank and you will get the double of your amount from the bank. So that is a magic formula that we often speak is Rule 72. So Rule 72 help you understand how far you have to wait to see your money doubling in the bank. It is not doubling overnight. It will take a certain period to double. So that is Rule 72. So Rule 72 help you understand how much time your money will take to become double in your account. This rule number 72 can be applied to anything that grows exponentially. If you're talking about money, you can apply to your money because it grows over a period of time. So you can apply to that. You can apply to GDP. Gross domestic product of a country can be calculated using 72 and inflation. So you can also consider this formula to calculate what is the growth of inflation in the specified future date. So Rule 72 helps you. Basically, Rule 72, why it is Rule 72? Rule 72 is basically this is the time it will take for your money to double or anything to double which is growing exponentially. So 72 is calculated using the exponential value, the standard exponential value 2.7182. So that is the base for the calculation of 72. And you need not look at log normal distribution table to calculate this. It is already calculated. This is a constant value. So 2.7182. There are variations you can see.
to rule number 72. There is 69 which is used for the calculation of interest rates. 69, 70, 72. Some cases you can also see 69.3 also used for understanding how much time your money will take to become double. But 72 is the most popular, very useful rule that will help you understand the value of your money on a specified period when the money is going to double at what rate. So we use 72. So I suggest you to go for 72. So for example, suppose you want to invest 1 lakh today at the compounded annual interest rate 8%. How long will it take for your money to become double? Simple, direct formula. Years to double is equal to 72 divided by interest rate. So 72 is the same value you're taking and interest rate. Let's say the prevailing interest rate is 8%. So divide 72 divided by 8, you're going to get years to double. So your money will take 9 years to become double in your bank account. When you put FD, fixed deposit in your bank, they take 7 years, 8 years, 9 years to double your money. On what basis they have done it? They have done it based on Rule 72. So 9 years will be the required time. You have to wait for 9 years to see your money doubling. You need to approach rule number 72 very carefully. You have to understand the hidden meaning of what is years to double. For example, when we say 9 years your money takes to become double, that means in 9 years your money is losing 50% of its value. Virtually, what you're going to get at the end of 9 years, this is after offsetting the inflation effect. So that is the value you're going to get, that 1 lakh will become 2 lakhs in 9 years. In 9 years, the actual value of 2 lakhs will be 1 lakh. That is a hidden principle behind doubling curve. So the compounding principle. Now we will talk about perpetuity. You must have heard perpetuity. It's a quite common term when it comes to retirement planning. So we talk about perpetuity to understand how we are going to receive cash flows after a specified future date. For example, let's say I am going to retire at so and so year, let's say 2050. So up to 2050, I'm going to save certain amount and I'm going to deposit my money in the bank account or in an investment vehicle. And after a specified duration, how I'm going to receive my cash flows. After a specified period of time, I'm going to stop investing in that particular vehicle and I'm expecting cash flows from that investment, right? So I want to understand perpetuity, how far I'm going to get money and at what rate I'm going to earn returns after a specified period of time, right? So that's the whole idea behind perpetuity. So perpetuity is basically refers to the constant stream of cash flows with no end. So that ends only when the person finish his journey, right? So like after retirement, let's say 60 years after a person retires, and then till the end of his life, he'll keep receiving the cash flows. But there is no definite period when he's going to stop receiving the cash flows. So it is perpetual, indefinite. The holder of this financial instrument entitled to receive the interest payments forever, and that is indefinite. There is no specified future date when the cash flows are going to stop. Have you heard of a retired person who is going to stop receiving his cash flows? It is no, right? So that is indefinite. These indefinite series of cash flows can have a finite present value. Though we say we are going to receive infinite cash flows, we have time value for those cash flows. So we have to time those cash flows. It is not that every year if I am going to receive 10,000 rupees, it doesn't mean that I'm going to have 10,000 rupees every year and it is going to be 10,000 forever, right? So the value of the 10,000 changes, that depreciates over a period of time. So the perpetuity principle helps you understand the value of those cash flows that you're going to receive after a specified period of time. So here the formula to calculate the perpetuity, perpetual value of your money. So present value of perpetuity is equal to amount divided by R. Amount is the cash flow you're going to receive after a specified period of time, and R is the interest rate you're going to receive after a specified period of time. At what rate you're going to receive the cash flows. So that is perpetuity. Let's understand the concept of perpetuity with a simple example. Calculate the present value on 31st December 2021 of perpetuity, paying 10,000 at the end of each month starting from 1st December 2021. The monthly discount rate is 7%. So what is 7%? It is the discount rate at which we are receiving the cash flow. So in this problem, the periodic payment is nothing but it is amount is 10,000. Discount rate is 0.07, that is 7%. Present value of your cash flow is 10,000 divided by 0.07, that is amount divided by discount rate. So 10,000 divided by 0.07, it is going to be 1,42,857. So that means the perpetual cash flows you are going to receive after a specified period of time, the discounted value of those cash flows is 1,42,857. Though you receive 10,000 rupees every month for indefinite period of time, we can calculate the present value of those cash flows for indefinite period of time. The amount is 1,42,857. Now, adding to perpetuity, let us say in this case, we have seen the perpetual cash flows are constant. That was 10,000. In a real world scenario, it is hard to imagine that the cash flows for the future are going to be same. The discount rate is going to be the same. The cash flows are going to be the same. Because these cash flows and discount rates are influenced by several macroeconomic factors. So when these factors are influenced by external environment, definitely the perpetual cash flows we are expecting will also change. The cash flows we are expecting will also change. The discount rate we are talking about is also going to change. So we need to understand growing perpetuity, how the cash flows will grow perpetually. Imagining cash flows will remain stagnant for indefinite period of time is an economic assumption which is necessary for the understanding of the principles. But in the real world, the discount rates, the cash flows will be influenced by various macroeconomic factors that needs to be discounted when we calculate the growing perpetuity. So let's consider an example. What is the value of promise to receive 10,000 next year, growing by 2% forever? The cash flows are expected to grow by 2%. 10,000, 2%. Next year, again plus 2%. So it will grow gradually. So we need to understand what is the perpetuity that going to grow, right? And that is under the assumption that the interest rate is going to be 8% per year. So when you need to assume that the perpetuity is going to grow for a period of time, you have to apply the growing perpetuity formula, amount divided by discount rate minus growth. That is 10,000 divided by 0.08 minus 0.2. The result is 1,66,667. What it refers? The value of your growing perpetuity will be 1,66,667 after your tenure, that when you are going to start receiving the cash flows. So that is growing perpetuity. Here is a quick recap of what we have learned so far. The value of money depreciates over a period of time due to inflation effect. Compounding refers to conversion of present value of money to future value of money. Discounting refers to conversion of future value of money to present value of money. The rupee earned today will have more value than the money that would be earned tomorrow. The rupee saved today will have more value than the money that would be saved tomorrow. The rupee invested today will have more value than the money that would be invested tomorrow. Why? Because of inflation effect. We also talked about perpetuity, right? Perpetuity refers to a constant stream of cash flows with no end. And we have applied time value principle to perpetual cash flows. And we have understood the growing perpetuity. Growing perpetuity refers to a cash flow that is not only expected to be received for indefinite period of time, but also grow with the same rate of growth forever. Thank you.
If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoy this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you are sharing this video with your friends and colleagues as well. Make sure to comment on the video any queries or suggestions, and I will respond to your comments.